Wide for Niall McGinn, who's been impressive since coming back from his broken foot. 3 goals in his 2 games since returning, both against St Johnstone. 1 in the League Cup and 2 last week in the league, where Emilio Isaguirre, the Honduran international, got the other. A lot of Maloney influence already. Good work by Isaguirre. First corner for Celtic after exactly a minute. One of 5 men of the matchday squad, 3 in the starting 11 who featured in the World Cup in South Africa. Short one, which didn't quite work. Aguirre again. Good ball, which at first evaded Paul Hartley, but not Sander Diamond, the former Scottish under-21 captain, partnering Rory McArdle, the Rochdale signing, in the centre of the Aberdeen defence. That's going to be a long one from Ki Sung-yong, but they elected against it in the end, and they have a free kick against Darren Mackey, his 13th season at Aberdeen. Man who scored the winner against Celtic in the cup here. Last time Aberdeen won at Parkhead. Scottish Cup quarter-finals 3 seasons ago. Anthony Stokes has been a superb arrival. Across the central belt from Hibernian. 5 goals so far. Punched out by Jamie Langfield. Good ball across, and the former Scotland B international goalkeeper, man who's been very much in and out of the side since pouring boiling water on his foot during the summer. Mark Hard has taken his place for most of this season, but dropped after falling last week against St Mirren, Howard's former club. Changes, of course, in the Celtic goal too this season. Fraser Forster has played every match since Celtic bowed out of Europe away to Utrecht. That's the last time Lucas Giluka played. Thomas Ronje back in the side as well today, the Norwegian. His first home game of the season. Chowdhury, and that'll be a free kick. Foul by Sonny Aluka, who was originally picked in the Nigerian World Cup 30 but didn't make the final squad. Londoner by birth and a former England underage international. Maloney. Support from Isaguirre, but trying something a bit more attack-minded. Ledley was involved in the way through, but there's no free kick. This is Chris Maguire. And he scored from the halfway line against Iceland last month in the Euro under-21 qualifiers. Aberdeen would take something like that today. Got 3 for them this season. Clark Robertson, the young 17-year-old. Ryan Jack's been given the nod as well this season. Here goes Stokes. Feels as if he's been around forever. He's only 22, and that'll be a free kick. Brought down by the number 42. And maybe a bit of punishment coming for the 17-year-old here. Went right through on Stokes. Telling off from Alan Muir, but no more. Stokes will be a prime target as usual. Fainted everybody. Goal kick results. The wild strike by Joe Ledley, who's playing in his natural attacking midfield position again. Played as emergency full back by Neil Lennon for the early part of this season. Mark McGee, a league winner with Aberdeen and Celtic, under that great Alex Ferguson side of the late 70s, early 80s. Ended his playing career with 2 European medals, Cup Winners' Cup and the Super Cup. They beat Hamburg in that showpiece match, and the Bundesliga side were so impressed they signed McGee. Netted against Hamburg in the Super Cup. Back by Majstorovic for Forster. Settling into SPL life now, the summer signing from AEK Athens. Scotland, the 6th country in which he's played. Aiming for a 3rd league title in a 3rd different country. Stokes beaten. Majstorovic with the crisp nod down. Chris Maguire remains the most advanced player for Aberdeen. Took a couple of heads from Rory McArdle, the Northern Ireland international, to get it away. This is Maguire. Majstorovic. Ki Sung-young. No good for Niall McGinn that time though. Been a welcome returnee to the side in the past week and a half. That's same for Scott Vernon. He's having some season with 7 goals so far. On by Paul Hartley, who's leading the goal scoring charts for the Dons in impressive fashion. Hartley has scored 8 goals this season, 7 from the penalty spot, including a hat-trick on the opening day against Hamilton on his Dons debut. It's the first all-penalty hat-trick in 37 years in Scottish top-flight football. Might just remember Jan Molby doing something equally famous for Liverpool in the mid-80s. Back by Sonny Aluka. Too far from Maguire, and was dominated by the combination of Majstorovic. No goals yet across the SPL today. The 4 Saturday 3 o'clock games. Here's Izagiri. Stayed in position, Ledley with a touch on. Stokes shifted his balance, let the ball run in front of it, but was mopped up by McArdle and Sander Diamond. Maguire battling away far too hard, and Chaudhuri scored the winning goal whilst on loan for Kilmarnock last season against Celtic. 1-0 win. They have a combination up front that find themselves in a position that they've been able to sink Celtic regularly. That's an audacious try by Anthony Stokes. Well, that was 30 yards at least. 5 goals this season. He's 1 behind Gary Hooper in the scoring stakes. Good nod down by Hooper, who's back in the side today in place of Samaras. Combination of Stokes, Hooper and Daryl Murphy that Neil Lennon's shifted around this season have all worked very well. Samaras will contribute with the occasional goal too. It's the occasional one, mind. Hartley. That's a superb ball. Maguire trying to latch on. And Forster stood his ground. But the Dons front man fully appreciative of the work his captain put in. Storovic. Right for Isagire, trying to set the ball forward, but it was just too long. Well, this was a superb ball forward by Paul Hartley. Really good vision. Maguire almost on it. 18 goals between Hartley, Maguire and Scott Vernon this season. Yet they still find themselves down in 8th. They're actually joint third best scorers in the SPL. They've had to rely on an awful lot of goals from the spot from Hartley. The Dons' biggest problem is conceding at the other end. They've let 15 in. Mark McGee deciding to rotate Jamie Langfield, who was the long-term Aberdeen #1, but had that scalding moment for him in the summer. Hence Mark Howard, the new signing from St Mirren, starting in goal instead of him. Two have been largely rotated since then. Normally after one of them's had a poor game. That by Ryan Jack. Another impressive youngster in this youthful enough Aberdeen team. Normally Neil Lennon is the most notable former Celtic great at Celtic matches, and he has a very good reason to be so. A lot of his big name erstwhile colleagues are here today. Really good work, as usual, by Maloney. Great balance. Stokes just lost his. Ledley back in the position he loves best. Quiet day so far for Alan Muir, and that's just how he would like it. Anthony Stokes almost joined the club 3.5 years ago, but stepped away to join Sunderland. Caught the eye again after a wonderful goal-laden spell at Hibernian. And it's impressed not just Neil Lennon this season, but also his international manager Giovanni Trapattoni. Selected him for the squad against Argentina. Only has 3 Irish caps to his name, but should improve on that shortly. Good position might fall to Key. Maloney and Izagiri on the overlap, but it's too far from the Korean. Maloney didn't have the pace, it was overhit, but Celtic pinging it around up front. Good advantage play by Alan Muir when Anthony Stokes was fouled. Key just miscued the key pass. But at least Henrik Larsson is enjoying it. Manager these days in Sweden in the second division with Landskrona. Also here today, Luba Moravcik and Chris Sutton. Sutton having a tribute dinner tomorrow night. Big weekend for Celtic, this their birthday. 123 years young. 42 leagues, 34 cups, 14 League Cups and a European Cup later. But Aberdeen, the last Scottish side to win a European trophy. Gave Rangers a real good run for their money during their 9 in a row. They were runners-up 5 times in 6 seasons. That off the back of their great successes under Alex Ferguson. Maloney's done well. This is Ki Sung-yong. Izagiri was on the overlap. Stokes floating around there too. Just struck too high by the Irishman, but he's finding his range now. Again, good work by the Korean. Stokes on the turn over Jamie Langfield, but the crossbar too. Thumbs up from the manager so far, though, you would think. Never short on confidence, Celtic, but you can feel theirs for today growing. Held up by Sonny Aluko. And Majstorovic again. Hartley with a bit of work to do. Way by Johan Foley, the Togoese international. It's through from Maguire. Good goalkeeping by Fraser Forster. He stood up well. Gorgeous ball from the back. Wonderful control by the ever-experienced Darren Mackey. And unselfishly and bravely through to Maguire. Forster with a really good save. Good threat up front. Hartley will take the corner kick. And a firm head in by Vernon off the line. Two great chances in a minute for Aberdeen. It was Niall McGinn who stayed on the line. Forster beaten all ends up. A powerful header by Scott Vernon. Third game back from his broken foot, which kept him out for 6 months. Valuable up front in the last two games. Valuable on the line today for Celtic. Nine Northern Ireland caps, and you would imagine more to come. Been a difficult start for Nigel Worthington's men in their Euro 2012 qualifying group. Chris Maguire. Lost by Jack, and there's big trouble. Hartley's lost it. Maybe an opening for Stokes. Good ball out wide, Maloney. Stokes and Hooper waiting in the middle. And had that reached the back post, it surely would have been 1-0. Tremendous work by Maloney. Now they have it all to do again. On by Runyon. Chadouri. To his Korean World Cup colleague Ki Sung-yong. Maloney the fulcrum again. Now it's Izagirre taking on Darren Mackey. Managed to get a pass for Aberdeen players, but not the fifth. It was Jamie Langfield. Too close to the keeper. Stokes had the look across, and from here it was brilliant work by Maloney. Couldn't find the back post where Hooper had taken up station. Lively game this, normally is between these two. 4-4 the last time they met at Pittodrie in February. Aberdeen never let it all in the game. 3 times Celtic did. And they still came down south with just 1 point. And a man down at the end of the game, Darren O'Dea. Dismissed at the end of the game. He's departed. Gary Hooper, one of those signed to replace him. Biggest signing of the summer. Financially, £2.4 million, around €3 million. And that from Scunthorpe United. Bigger names came from bigger clubs, but either for free or for less money. Super pullback, went beyond Maloney and then absolutely ballooned. Another brilliant break by the captain. Zoom past Hooper. Blasted over the top by Runyon, looked like at the back post. Another glorious opportunity. Niall McGinn on rushing onto it. Really had the goal scoring touch since his return. Majstorovic to mop up. Get in ahead of Chris Maguire. Firm head on by Rory McArdle. Would have known quite a bit about Gary Hooper in his Football League days. McArdle coming from Rochdale. Ki Sung-yong. Stokes. Glorious ball in search of Hooper again. Wonderful trickery by Maloney. That's a marvellous stop. But it's by the wrong man. Hartley got in the way and he's been sent off. And the man who has scored 7 goals for Aberdeen this season has given one away. Great work by Maloney, the shot by Ki Sung-yong. James Langfield was beaten. Hartley stuck out the hand. Easy decision for Alan Muir to make. So Anthony Stokes with the Celtic penalty, and they lead 1-0. Double whammy for Aberdeen. A goal down and a man down. No silence to enjoy at Celtic Park. Sixth goal since signing for Stokes, his second in the SPL. Celtic off the mark before the half hour. Good conversion rate for Stokes. Darryl Murphy getting two from the spot at the start of the campaign. Stokes, Ireland international colleague, but not in the squad today. They've had their penalty incidents this season. A lot of them not going Celtic's way. That one certainly did. But it was very much an open and shut case. Means that for the third straight meeting between these two, there's been a sending off. Darren O'Dea last time. Gerald Eiffel when Aberdeen were here last, just around Christmas last year. 2 goals from Georgie Samaras that day. Who is the most recent Celtic hat-trick hero against Inverness Cali Thistle in the League Cup. Big opening here, it could be 2 immediately, and is! And Hooper joins the party. No sooner had Anthony Stokes joined him as Celtic's joint leading scorer this season. On 6, Hooper is now in 7th heaven. And holes all over the Aberdeen defence. This could be a rout. Lovely layoff by Stokes. Hooper used his physical strength, and then his touch and finish. Seventh goal of the season, his 5th in the SPL. And suddenly it is not just a Ben Nevis for Aberdeen to climb, but more of an Everest. 2 could become 3 very quickly. Just ran beyond Stokes. Scored the first on the spot, then that super layoff for the second just now for Hooper. A lot more difficult now for Mark McGee, who, in reacting to Celtic's comments earlier in the week that referees were institutionally biased against them, McGee said, well, I played for Celtic for a few years, I never noticed that. Maguire injured. Maloney's challenge, got the ball. And then Maguire. Well, it was a superb long-range strike from Ki Sung-young, which was going in. Hartley sent off, Stokes stepping up to convert. No real complaint about that. There was no protest from any of the Aberdeen players, not from Hartley, after Alan Muir's decision, and immediately the armband was taken off and off he walked. That by Sonny Aluka. Whatever thoughts Aberdeen had of coming here and getting a positive result, surely blown out of the water already. Mark McGee's had a think, no changes yet. Noticeable that Roberto Di Matteo had to make a change very quickly when West Brom were reduced to 10 and then 9 very early on against Blackpool in England earlier in the week. Another good chip by Stokes for Hooper. They've got a great rapport up front. And 13 goals between them this season. Aberdeen now without their leading scorer. Surge from Chaduri. Support from Maloney ahead. Who'll jink around, try to complete the 1-2 with Hooper. No decision going Celtic's way this time. Niall McGinn. Good dangerous ball in, and it's 3. Second for Hooper, and Aberdeen are imploding. 3 goals in 6 minutes, and the points already assured before half-time. All the work this time of Niall McGinn, real beautiful jinking run down the right-hand side. Xander Diamond was deceived by Hooper. Good challenge, and then with the ball dead, blasted home. Fish in a barrel stuff. 3-0. Very, very good goal for Gary Hooper's 8th of the season, his 6th in the SPL. And what a find by Neil Lennon from Scunthorpe United. Had a ratio down there of slightly better than a goal every 2 games. Not been doing too badly up here either. Second time he's got a brace in the Celtic colours, the previous one against Dundee United in a 2-1 victory. And Celtic's 3 are the only goals at the moment to have been scored in the SPL today. Changes necessary. Derek Young is being brought on to shore things up, and Aluko, the Nigerian international, is coming off. Change had to be made. They've been massively imbalanced since the sending off of Paul Hartley. And Derek Young is on. It really is hard lines on Aluko, but very little other option from Mark McGee. They can forget about the points now, just try and keep their goal difference intact. No other call necessary from Alan Muir, really. Lovely 1-2, Maloney, beautiful ball in, and almost poked in for a fourth. Joe Ledley, now that the shackles are off and able to play in his natural attacking position. Only the one goal for his new club, and still in position for this corner from Ki Sung-young. Too much ambition that time from Emilio Izaguirre. Doesn't tend to score much, but got his first of the season last week against St Johnstone, a club just like all the rest that Henrik Jarsson used to score against all the time. 242 he netted during his 7 years at Parkhead. Left here with 4 SPLs, 2 Scottish Cups and 2 League Cups, and a European Golden Boot. 5 times he was SPL leading scorer. And still a tremendously popular figure here. Turning into a forlorn old day up front for Scott Vernon and Chris Maguire. Can't expect terribly much to come their way for the remaining 55 minutes or so. Maguire is battling gamely. It is a Celtic throw. Well earned by Ronje, the Norwegian. Lovely layoff. Challenged by Rory McArdle was agricultural to say the least. But he got enough of the ball and not enough of Niall McGinn, who was sent flying. Scored in a League Two playoff final against Stockport in 08, and that was very much a League Two challenge. But it is a corner, and it's Ki Sung-young who'll take. Deep one, and Majstorovic was up but pushing. He's been around as well, experienced in the Bundesliga, the Eredivisie in the Netherlands, Switzerland, Sweden, Greece, now Scotland. Speaks 7 languages. Probably 8 if you count the Glaswegian version of English. Aim for Maguire, who did brilliantly. Now he's been brought down. It's a free kick. And was that denying a goal-scoring opportunity? First start of the season at home for Ronje. It's got very fractious. Aberdeen are protesting vociferously. Alan Muir has found his man. 10 aside. A judge to have denied a definite goal-scoring opportunity. A judge should be in the last man. He hauled down Chris Maguire, and the Norwegian had his arm right around Maguire's neck. So Celtic now are down to 10 themselves. No noticeable protest from the Celtic manager. Thomas Runyan dismissed for denying the goal-scoring opportunity, which Maguire had, and that's a good save from his free kick. Rebound, splashed over by Xander Diamond. It's given Aberdeen a bit of hope in the game. Really brilliant free kick. That's the quality of Fraser Forster. Parried it. Should have been a corner. Real power from the Scotland under-21 international. Well, if he can score from the halfway line, you know that he can pack a bit of punch behind his shots. Here goes Izagirre, brilliantly down the left wing, and he robbed Maguire superbly. Great cross, whipped away by McArdle. Danger's not averted yet. It is now, claimed by Langfield. He is in ever-present danger in the hoops up front, Gary Hooper. Really good reactions. It was blocked by Xander Diamond and then grabbed by Langfield. Hooper for Stokes. Maloney was in support. Vernon has come deep to try and help the ball away. And it's heating up in the Glasgow rain. Well, there was the late challenge from Derek Young, which he took major exception to, and which he is still taking major exception to. And for that he's been booked. And Hooper for the challenge. That's 4 cards in the game now, 2 for either side. 2 yellow, 2 red. Maloney. Good pull back for Ledley, and it's run through. Maloney's done brilliantly. It's another penalty. Langfield with the challenge. Now what trouble is he in? Yellow it is. Maloney had gone very, very wide. But this is a game in which absolutely everything's happening. Maloney had gone round the goalkeeper, but the angle was acute. Stokes has already netted 1 from the spot. That made it 1-0. It's now 4. It's the game which has had everything. accept the half-time whistle. And Langfield guessed right. Stokes has made it 2 from 2 in this game. And Celtic have 4. 1 added minute, which is now passed.
1 minute's been added.
Pushed on by Stokes. Ambition still there for a 5th to be scored before half-time. Well, what a first half that was. 4 goals, 2 red cards, 2 penalties. Alan Muir was happy for a quiet game. He hasn't had one. And the bad news for him, there's still 45 minutes still to come. Anthony Stokes netting 2, both from the spot. Gary Hooper 2 from play, with Paul Hartley and Thomas Runye sent off by Alan Muir.
Live SPL continues this weekend on Setanta Sports. Rangers look to continue their winning streak as they travel to St Mirren Park to take on the Buddies. St Mirren v Rangers this weekend on Setanta Sports.
Live Serie A continues next weekend on Setanta Sports with one of football's greatest rivalries, the Milan Derby. Scudetto and Champions League winners Inter take on bitter rivals AC Milan for season bragging rights. Inter versus AC Milan next weekend on Setanta Sports.
Partner Daniel Majstorovic, which means that Niall McGinn, the tricky Irish winger who set up goal number 3, Gary Hooper's second of the game, has been sacrificed for the second half. Well, Alan Muir wanted a quiet game. He hasn't got one. And after a first half with 4 goals, 2 penalties, 2 red cards, Lord knows what awaits in the second. A lot more space on the park now that both sides have lost a man. Certainly makes it a lot more intriguing, though not even with it being 4-0 for Celtic. Though we are halfway to the scoreline these sides produced the last time they met, which was 4-4. Here goes Scott Vernon. Pretty much isolated, didn't have a lot of support until Chris Maguire showed up. And it's Maloney, lovely layoff. Stokes was sizing it up. Ki Sung Yong in a good position too. This is Chadu Ray. With all the work, Cooper to hold up. Pretty much wasted that time away from Anthony Stokes. Cooper had been in support. Well, 11 points adrift of the old firm at the top. Motherwell in third, going in at half-time 2-0 up at Inverness. Kilmarnock were 1-0 leaders at St Johnstone. Hamilton and Dundee United were goalless. Alan Gow and Nick Blackman with those Motherwell goals should keep them in third. And if it stays like this, and you imagine it will, Celtic will be top of the SPL in approximately 45 minutes' time. Ryan Jack towards Chris Maguire. Was the most extraordinary first half. The fact that we've had 2 red cards in the first 45 minutes will continue the debate tonight, certainly. Refereeing in Scotland and overall officiating. Good work by Izagiri on the overlap, but couldn't work it through. Highlights get shown in Scotland on a Monday night. Just wondered that the general public probably wouldn't just agree with both decisions. Contentiousness from Celtic's viewpoint that Jamie Langfield wasn't shown anything stiffer than a yellow card. And Muir, the referee's viewpoint would surely be that Maloney was bringing the ball away from goal. Good effort by Joe Ledley, wanting to get in on the act. 2 for Stokes, 2 for Hooper. Bit of a personal battle between the two. Who'll complete the hat-trick first? If either will. Ledley's only netted once since signing from Cardiff. But happy to be back where he belongs. Mopped up by Majstorovic. Chadouri. Good probing. Gone out wide for the cross, which was eventually unorthodoxly dealt with by the chest of Darren Mackie. Taken up by Ledley. Really was a freak first half. And you'd wonder in the wet and cold of Glasgow what more is to follow. Will be a long road back for Aberdeen, but then it always is. Here's Stokes. Lovely chip. Control was superb. Should have been 5, but a corner instead. Hooper very close to completing his hat-trick. Would have been the 4th goal out of the 5 that Stokes have been involved in. Fine chip up. Hooper unable to get a crisp, clean connection, but it's a Celtic corner all the same. Ledley. Cut out by Chris Maguire. Izagiri. Short one, Maloney. Good ball from Majstorovic in the middle. Doesn't normally find himself in that position, but he stayed up after the corner. Quite dominant in the air. This is Stokes. Over frenetic pullback, and it's a throw for Aberdeen. You could actually make a case for Stokes being involved in all 4 goals, as He passed to McGinn to start the move that led to the third, but directly 2 goals and 1 assist for the Irish striker so far. International recall surely cannot be too far away. Zaguirre has skipped the last few internationals for Honduras. So they've wound things down slightly since the World Cup. Fine work again by the Korean World Cup star Cha Do-rae. Dipping his toe into waters outside of Germany for the first time. Celtic have benefited well from his fine runs and wing play, as they've done so. Zaguirre also. This is Maloney. Laid back for Stokes, who felt it was worth a try. Hit his own man. Not content with 4. "25 yards and a hefty angle too." Found the back of Zaguirre, who'd rushed on. Celtic's goal difference ahead of it today was plus 15. Rangers was plus 17. Will help Celtic's cause the more they can score today, because the 3 points are just about assured, and it's 500 to 1 that they don't leave with all 3 points. Georgie Sauras and Pat McCourt, interested spectators in the back row of the Celtic dugout, wondering when their chance will arrive. As Højveld was given his, just to shore things up after the dismissal of Ronje. Cha Do-rae. Well cut out by Rory McArdle. Aberdeen's goal difference taking a battering today. The Motherwell, Inverness and Hearts had all scored 14 goals. Joint best scorers in the SPL outside of the Old Firm. Motherwell have added 2 onto that consequently. Maloney kept his balance well. Super ball in the overlap, the pull back as the hat-trick attempt continues from Gary Hooper. Fine pull back by the Korean. Certainly Scunthorpe's loss has been Celtic's gain, and how. Cha Do-rae's middle club out of the 5 in which he played in the Bundesliga have been tilting at the top in Germany this season with Borussia Dortmund. Lost the top of the table clash last week, did Mainz. Most recently down near Munich with Freiburg he was. Izagirre worked hard, did well, but then gave it away. And he flew in very late, Izagirre. Fair Cup goal. Told to calm down. No viciousness in the challenge on Maguire. Josh McGuinness, the Northern Ireland internationals, coming on for Scott Vernon.
Substitution for our player offers on the line, Scott Vernon. Player on is 20, Josh McGuinness.
McGuinness, a Cardiff City colleague last season of Joe Ledley. Now they're firmly up against each other. Langfield has come a long way out for this free kick. And immediately cut offside. He's from Bangor in Northern Ireland, formerly a youth of Lisburn and Glentoran. This one season at Cardiff City where he was released by Dave Jones. Izagirre. Stokes back very deep. Completes the 1-2 with Maloney, but only for a nanosecond. Johan Foley, whom we've seen very little in the game. Now Derek Young. Good work by Clark Robertson as the crowd continue to sing the name of Henrik Larsson. Maguire worked hard to get the cross in, but easy for Fraser Forster. Still singing songs about him, hopefully in Swedish too. 2 is right, by the way, as you see. John Hughes, dispatched a few weeks ago as manager of Hibernian, replaced by Colin Calderwood, who'd earned some really good experience south of the border, coaching in England. Back by Chowdhury. Stokes is in there. Couldn't get the finish this time. Ian Hooper toiling heavily to complete the hat-trick. Chowdhury has filled the role of Niall McGinn very well in this second half. Stokes hoping to fill his boots by claiming the match ball. It'll be Ki Sung-young who'll take. Izagirre. Cross was fine, aimed towards Stokes at the back post. He's got lovely control. Own goal, and that completes Aberdeen's day. Josh McGuinness, his first touch and play of the ball, and he sent it into his own net. And that's 5. Well, he wanted to get on the score sheet, but not like this. He was off balance, dived for it. Beautiful control by Stokes to set things in motion. Fine ball in by Ledley. And it was like old days at Cardiff City. Ledley crossing for McGuinness to score. Not the way he would have wanted. In fairness, it was a great header. It's his first goal in an Aberdeen shirt as well. Oh dear. Did say at the end of the first half it was a game which had everything. Well, now it is. Stokes. Ki Sung-young. Wide for Chowdhury. Stokes continuing to work hard, and he almost latched onto it. Johan Foley, the Togoese international, got in the way. Very similar to Sonny Aluko, who went off just after the red card for Paul Hartley. Very close to a World Cup. But Foley, in an act of folly, pulled out of the Togo World Cup squad for Germany. In by Stokes. 6. Simple. And now it is a hat-trick for Gary Hooper. Celtic are running riot. Samras and McCord involved in the celebrations already before they come on the pitch. Hooper's got the match ball. And Stokes has crossed in two of them. Gorgeous ball in. Simple header by Hooper. 6-0 it is, and it's Celtic's biggest win over Aberdeen in a long, long time. Efrain Juarez is coming on, the second change of the day, and off is Ki Sung-yong. Does mean that one of the two men involved in the most recent Gary Hooper celebration won't be coming on. Samras or McCourt. Two of the three changes now made. And that change decided on long before goal number 6. Well, we had 8 goals the last time these sides met. We're only 2 away from it happening today, but not with the equal distribution we had at Pittodrie back in February. Celtic scored 5 at Pittodrie at the start of 08 in a 5-1 victory. You've to go back to this weekend 8 years ago for a scoreline like this. Celtic beat Aberdeen 7-0. It is very, very possible they'll go beyond that today. Here's Stokes. Good ball in. Hooper aiming for another. He's now on 9 this season. Stokes on 7. Hooper's got 7 in the SPL. Stokes just the 3. And Celtic are now the leading scorers in the SPL this season with 28 goals, 2 more than Rangers, and there may be more to come. Here's Chaduri. Not up to the standard that's been set today. Willie Miller, what a legend he was. I'm sure he had a full head of hair at the start of today. General Aberdeen legend, their captain when they won the Cup Winners' Cup in '83. Side in which Mark McGee played. Beat Real Madrid famously in the final. Had a stab at management as well with the Dons. Generally a great team, but you could argue that, like Dundee United, who popped up and won a few league titles around that time, stands a very strong men at the helm. Jim McLean for Dundee United. A pre-Sir Alex Ferguson for Aberdeen. The biggest win up to now in the SPL season's been 4-0. Once apiece by Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Inverness and Aberdeen when they beat Hamilton 4-0. They've got a taste of their own medicine now. Aberdeen's 4-2 win over Hibernian was the highest scoring game of the season. That's now been matched. One of the results which saw John Hughes eventually dispatched at Easter Road. And just when Aberdeen thought things were bad enough, Celtic are now bringing on Paddy McCourt. The hat-trick hero Gary Hooper is being withdrawn to save the rest of his goals for another day, and it will be a standing ovation. Probably the best 2 million Celtic have spent in years. And you'll know that this man will want to get in on the act. 2 goals this season, but both peaches, especially the third in the 3-0 win over Hearts here. Previously scored against Inverness Caledonian Thistle. In the last 11 years and 1 month, there have been 2 7-0 and 2 6-0 wins for Celtic over Aberdeen. Two of those coming back to back within 6 weeks of each other. 7-0 here, 6-0 at Pittodrie. Season which Aberdeen were happy to see end. Very much struggling around the Millennium time. They finished 10th at the end of that season, just about stayed up. Maloney looking to cause more damage. Under Mark McGee, they eventually settled in 9th last season. Not after 5 top 6 finishes in a row. 4 of those in the top 4. It's as if they were knocking on the door again. A few regular European campaigns. They would need a similar defeat for Kilmarnock today at St Johnstone for Aberdeen to stay in 8th. It's as if they are going to drop 1 place at least. Motherwell 2-0 up at Inverness. That's 4th, hosting 3rd today up north. Kilmarnock a goal up at St Johnstone. Still 0-0 between Hamilton and Dundee United. Rangers are at St Mirren tomorrow, and a tasty Edinburgh derby at Easter Road. Hibs hosting Hearts. Here's McCourt. Sigiri on the overlap, centred for Stokes. Chaduri. Ledley, beautiful ball! And they're going to have to find a match ball for Anthony Stokes as well. It is a magnificent 7 for Celtic. Beautiful ball in by Ledley for Stokes. Might not have connected, you know. That's one for the dubious goals committee. I think that went straight in. Giving it to Ledley they have here anyway. Does of course pose a question, should Stokes be awarded that goal? Do they give him a match ball as well? Well, they might be on the way to here. It's 8 for Celtic. Stokes has definitely got his hat-trick now. And this could end in double figures. Celtic 8, Aberdeen 0. Horrible, horrible defensive melee. Stokes through 101. He's got 3. Hooper's got 3. Given away by Chris Maguire. And Aberdeen are going to head back up north in total embarrassment. Lovely finish by Stokes, who wanted to make sure that time. 2 hat-tricks apiece for he and Hooper. Match ball each then, I presume. And can you hear? Mark McGee certainly can. What the Celtic crowd have been chanting. We want 10. We want to go home. Do you blame them? Went into this game with 2 wins in 3 games, but also 2 wins in 6. As one of those was in the League Cup over Falkirk. Just 1 win in 8 in the league. And this is a glum old day for sure for Aberdeen. And could it get worse? It's been a day of no Celtic mercy. Stokes leaping in again, Langfield away. He's now on 8 for the season, Hooper 9. Somehow I don't think it's going to end there. One of those crazy days, one of those crazy scores. And Aberdeen haven't had a look at. The 259th meeting in the league between Celtic and Aberdeen. Prior to today, 133 Celtic wins, 65 for Aberdeen and 60 draws. But nothing as crazy as this. To feel sorry for Neil Waters, who's getting a real ear bashing off Mark McGee. Has he gone too far? Already 8-0 down, and Mark McGee's influence in the game, such as it is, maybe about to end. Alan Muir playing an appeasing role, but the Aberdeen manager, former Celtic player, won a few league titles and a couple of cups here, was calm enough in his reaction not to be dispensed with. McCourt working his magic, cut out by Maguire. The striker who's playing an emergency defensive role. The 64-65 season. The last time Celtic scored 8 against Aberdeen. Not the highest scoring game ever between these two. Celtic did win a League Cup game at Pittodrie once, 5-4. Here's McCourt. And McCourt received the super back heel by Ledley. Corner it is, put out by Ryan Jack. Every move now for Celtic suggests if it's going to end in a goal, especially when this man's on the ball. Maloney really let fly. Lovely jinking run by the Celtic skipper. Looks like he's having fun, I think. First time anyone has ever scored 8 in the new SPL. It's the biggest margin of victory at the moment in the top flight in Scotland since Celtic won 8-0 at Hamilton in November 1988. Here goes McCourt. Pull back was superb by Izaguirre. Biggest win ever in the Scottish top flight, 1895. Celtic's 11-0 win over Dundee. They could do with Willie Miller today, and Mark McGee and Jim Leighton out there. It's a universe away from the time when Aberdeen were kings of Europe. That great victory in Stockholm over Real Madrid to win the Cup Winners' Cup in 1983. What's actually generally forgotten is they reached the quarter-finals of the European Cup in '86. Last full season that Alex Ferguson was in charge. They were a great side who tilted with greatness for another decade, but then a gradual collapse came in. Not been able to recapture the glory days. 4 times league champions, but they'd only won the one before the Ferguson era began. Stokes. Well, it's a day to try everything now. Sander Diamond with the block. Izaguirre's cross cut out by Ryan Jack. Ledley. Majstorovic. It is 10 against 10. May not feel like it for Aberdeen. McCourt for Izaguirre again. Overcooked the cross though, did the Honduran. United Kingdom's been a popular place for Honduras international footballers to end up, mainly at Wigan. Bouncing for Stokes again. Heufeld, who's had just about nothing to do since coming on at half-time. Efrain Juarez, league winner in Mexico with Unam Pumas, and prospects are he'll be in the top two in Scotland anyway. It's another one. Maloney going through. The challenge was untidy. The ball had gone. The foul by Ryan Jack. So, Paddy McCourt places the ball down. Anthony Stokes has already scored two. It's McCourt. History! The first time anyone's ever scored 9 since the formation of the Scottish Premier League. First time anyone's ever scored 9 goals in this fixture. And it's heading for the biggest victory in SPL history. Heading for the biggest victory in 110 years in the top flight in Scotland. It is a freak result, but it's all going Celtic's way, and Neil Lennon can afford a glimpse of a smile. Well, PSV Eindhoven did do this to Feyenoord a few weeks ago in the Netherlands. They won 10-0. What an absolutely ludicrous score. But you know what? It may not be over yet. At the third goal of the season from Paddy McCourt. And just about the first one in which he hasn't had to beat 4 or 5 men. He's on the ball now. We want 10. The refrain reverberating around Celtic Park. And the mood Celtic are in, they may well get it. Langfield couldn't pick up the back pass. It's Stokes, it's a beautiful ball. Hooked away by Rory McCardle. It's just like it's 0-0 now for Celtic. They just want to score one more. Chipped up by McCourt. Over the head of Juarez. It's the biggest score ever in this fixture. It's the biggest top-flight margin in a Scottish League game in around a century. 1959, Hibs won 11-1 at Airdrie. 51 years and 2 weeks later, something very special is around the corner. Stokes tried something special, but it didn't come off. But he appreciated the pass. just like old days, eh, Henrik? Aguero with the cross. That was just a little too casual. He found Jamie Langfield eventually. Oh, what was Xander Diamond thinking of, considering what had happened earlier in the game to Josh McGuinness? McCourt to take it up. And he'll want to run at them surely. Good support from Ledley. Stokes has come deep. This is Ledley again. He'll definitely be given that goal to make it 7-0 now that Stokes has his hat-trick, like Hooper. McCourt, close to the area. Out for Wallace. Stokes. Ledley. McCourt. They'll want him to run. He hasn't yet. Ledley for Stokes. Good save by Langfield. Ledley. It was pretty much a shot to nothing, which almost paid off. McCourt. This is Ledley. Claim of a high strike by Maloney. Play will continue. No need for added time. No doubt about this result. Hat-tricks for Anthony Stokes and Gary Hooper. Celtic become the first club to ever score 9 in an SPL game.
Next home game, Celtic Park.
It's the biggest victory in the top flight in Scotland for just over 51 years. Pat McCourt rounding things off with goal number 9. The biggest scoreline, the biggest margin of victory ever in this fixture. A long way home back up north for Aberdeen, especially for Josh McGuinness, whose own goal opened the second half scoring. Celtic 9, Aberdeen 0. It has been incredible stuff to mark Celtic's 123rd birthday. Neil Lennon will be leading the celebrations and blowing the candles off the cake tonight with huge gusto in pretty much the same manner that Celtic played today.
Live SPL continues this weekend on Setanta Sports. Rangers look to continue their winning streak as they travel to St Mirren Park to take on the Buddies. St Mirren v Rangers this weekend on Setanta Sports.
Live Serie A continues next weekend on Setanta Sports with one of football's greatest rivalries, the Milan Derby. Scudetto and Champions League winners Inter take on bitter rivals AC Milan for season bragging rights. Inter versus AC Milan next weekend on Setanta Sports.